Let's go ahead and get started. Good morning. I'm Matt Sabala. I'm an annuity sales director here at IAMS. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got Clifford from Safe Money Events here with us today. How are you this morning, Clifford?
Oh, I'm doing just great.
And with enthusiasm, he says. So, oh, there we go. Much better. I like that sweater. You're looking good, man. I do not have a webcam set up here.
That's right.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I know you guys are excited about learning about the opportunities we have with Safe Money, and we've been using Safe Money very successfully for a long time now for seminars, but we have some other programs to talk about too. A couple of announcements coming here tomorrow at our Ascend event. If you have not received information on that, let me know. I can help you get registered. I know Clifford's going to hit high level on some of that, but let's go ahead and get going on this so he can do the talking and we can all do the listening. But before we get into what Clifford has to say, I'm going to hit quickly on our value prop here at IAMS. Many of you have seen this before, but we do some things really, really well here. One of them is getting started with us and hitting the ground running is one thing that our new producers take advantage of. So in your first 6 months contracted with us here at IAMS, any of these thresholds that you see starting at $100,000 going up to $1 million can be hit. And if you hit those thresholds, FIA business counts dollar for dollar, MIGA business counts as half, life business, it can vary, but it usually counts around times 10. If you hit those thresholds, we can do a number of things for you, including, something simple like a 1,500 postcard mailer, all the way and including up to, we'll put on 3 seminars for you. And the guy we got here on the call with us, Clifford, has been very successful in helping drive people to our top producers using seminars. So that's a great way to hit the ground running and just getting started here with us at IAMS. And I had a guy just recently hit the $1 million level. He's got a full sales funnel because of a reimbursement that he took advantage of. So not only did he get a great finish to 2023, but he's set up really, really well for 2024. And we want to make sure that happens for you also. Just like you guys, if you get a new client, the best possible conversation you're typically going to have with a new client is somebody who is referred to you. You're our client, and the best possible conversation we're going to have with a new agent is from an agent that refers somebody to us. So if you do, we want to pay you for that. $50 when they get contracted, not a huge deal there, but it really can be effective for you if you refer somebody who starts writing business with us. And of course, we'll help make that happen here. But you get paid an override on anything they write. So they write a $100,000 indexed annuity, you're going to get $200 on that. And that is indefinite. It doesn't end. So if you refer to us a good agent and they write a lot of business with us, it's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in your back pocket. We pay out a lot of money every month for this. Our ownership sees a huge value in referrals, and we would love to pay you for anybody that you bring to us. So I'll highlight 3 things that I think we are exceptional at here at IAMS. One is back office support. When you submit business, we have an expert for whatever carrier you're submitting that business to that follows that business from submission to commission. So you write a North American policy, we've got Ben who's going to follow that business on the annuity side from the time it gets submitted to make sure that everything is going to go through suitability as best as possible to when you get paid. And then if you ever need help with withdrawal forms or anything like that, we've got somebody who knows each of those carriers very, very well and can help you out with that. We've got Mackenzie and her team on the annuity side and Michelle and her team on the life side. So if you submit business with us, rest assured we have somebody who's very familiar with that carrier and can make that process as seamless as possible. Put us on your staff, but not on your payroll is something I always tell advisors. We can help smooth out that process and and helps you spend your time in front of clients rather than focusing on all of that. Another way to be more efficient, definitely, is using Firelight. If you're not doing that, you're probably spending way more time on applications than you need to. It has a slight learning curve. It's not bad at all. If you know how to do a paper application, you know how to do a Firelight application. But if you submit in Firelight, you're going to cut down on the time that it takes you to make sure you got all the boxes filled, because it'll tell you when you're missing something, and you'll cut down on the time that it takes to process that business, because it's easier for us to review before it goes to the carrier, and it's easier for the carrier to review once it gets there. So if you need help getting to Firelight, need help learning it, let your annuity sales director know, or your life sales director, because a lot of life business uses Firelight now too. We'll walk you through it and make sure you're comfortable with it. Many carriers now are incentivizing you to use Firelight by either paying you more to use it or paying you less if you don't. So make sure you know how to use that. It'll speed everything up for you. It also makes it easier to do remote business if you ever have a client who needs to sign remotely. You can access that through our website. You can also do applications on mobile devices like phones, to be honest, or iPads, something like that. Very, very easy tool to use. Let us know. We'll help you out with that. Second thing that I think we are exceptional at is creative marketing solutions. So first of all, I'll just say, if you have not had a custom marketing analysis done for you, make sure you talk to your annuity or life sales director. We will do that for you to make sure that whatever goals you have set for yourself in 2024 can be met. And we will back in to what it's going to take to get you there based on what your goals are and what your current production level is at. If you don't have goals, you need goals. That's one thing that should be pretty obvious to you guys, and most of you, I'm sure, have those for 2024. But if you need help talking through that, get a hold of us. We do everything from business cards to brochures to websites to radio, TV. We do it all. And our creative marketing team is solely focused in the advisor space. They do nothing but work in financial services, so they understand what you need. It is not a profit center for us. Everything they do is designed to get you more darts to throw at the board. Our website is a really good resource to you. We've got everything on there from sales and support tools to canned material that you can, print off and use in your office. Something as simple as advertising a rate, all the way up to planning tools that you can use with your clients, sales processes, fact finders. We've got it all on our website. Rate Watch, Annuity Rate Watch. Some of you are probably familiar with that. That's a really effective comparison tool that we use every day here as sales directors. You have access to it too, as long as you're contracted with us and have access to our website. Let us know if you need help with that website. We will give you a walkthrough to make sure all those tools that are available to you, you know where they're at, so you can tap into those resources there on the website. Many of you have been following the updates with the Department of Labor and the fiduciary ruling that is going into effect here very soon. We are following it closely here at IAMS. We are lobbying to make sure that the changes that are made are ones that are not going to be a detriment to your business. Here's what we know so far in a nutshell. There's going to be some additional compliance needed. You're probably going to have to show more than one illustration with each of your clients. And you will need to ensure that you are acting as a fiduciary for your client. Most of you are already doing that, but IAMS Wealth Management was formed back in 2016, 2018 in that area because there was a worry at that time that changes the Department of Labor was making were going to require people to have a securities license, or that an organization like IAMS would be able to act as the fiduciary for our insurance agents who maybe didn't have their 65. We know now that that won't be required with the new changes, but IAMS Wealth Management is an excellent resource to you if you don't have your securities license. For a client who may want to leave money in a growth bucket, you can't always do that if you don't have a 65 or other securities licenses. So if you want to keep that client close and not have them talking to other advisors, then IAMS Wealth Management will go with you on that call virtually and make sure that you have every resource you need to keep that client close, offer the best full suite of opportunities for them. And then if you ever do earn your license and we can help you with that, we will flip them back to you. So then you can earn a commission on any of that wealth managed business as well. Excellent resource, Charles and his team over at IAMS Wealth. If you want a consultation with them, just let me know. They can help you earn your license, but also just have a really, really good, flexible platform over there at IAMS Wealth Management. We're going to do a couple of polls over the course of this webinar. If you'd like more information on IAMS Wealth Management, let me know. That's usually one of the polls that we offer. It isn't this time, but let me know and I will get you in touch with the team over there. I thought I was going to have a poll on that, but I don't. I'm sorry. I do on this one though. The third thing I think we do exceptionally well is training. I've got experience in the industry with a couple of different IMOs, the largest in the nation. I worked there for quite a while, and I worked in another one where everybody who started all these IMOs all over the country, they kind of started out at PBS, Personalized Brokerage Services, and split up from there. That was the big IMO back in the day, and a lot of the talent in the industry started there. And I've seen, the point to this is, I've seen the training that the industry has to offer, and we do it as well or better than everybody else in the industry. This Life and Annuity Academy is kind of the tip of the spear. So several times a year, we invite people out to our corporate offices. Sometimes we do them at a carrier's office. We pay to fly you out, put you up in a hotel. It's all inclusive. We show you a good time. But more importantly, what we do is we share best practices and sales concepts from top producers. This is not Life and Annuities 101. This is Life and Annuities at the highest level. So it's not for beginners. We do have we do have a qualification for it. If you are interested in attending, please let me know here. Just vote quickly on this poll that I'm about to launch, and we would love to see you out at our next Life and Annuity Academy. Undoubtedly, you will come back with a couple ideas that you can implement in your practice to help you close more business. And almost unanimously, I've seen people come back from these academies and increase the amount of business that they are closing year over year. Okay, let's go ahead and move on here. I'm almost done. We're big on incentive trips. Some of that may be changing with the Department of Labor ruling, by the way. But for now, we're ramping up qualification for our Seaside Sanctuary. $4.5 million will get you there. It's kind of a fraternal group that typically comes out to these. The same people seem to make it out, and we add a few people each time. A great opportunity to have a good time and just kind of bump elbows and rub shoulders. Did I say that right? I'm not sure. With other top producers, these people usually stay in pretty close contact and help each other out in their practices. A lot of unique friendships are made there. We've got this one that will be in April of this year, and then another one that we're doing, the Summit by the Sea. It's another Seaside one that we'll be doing in October that requires $3 million in qualification. So a little easier to get to that one, and we've still got quite a while before we wrap up qualification for that one. So let us know if you have any questions on that, but we'd love to see you out there. Finally, would not be a presentation if I didn't ask you to like and subscribe. We have a big presence on Facebook and LinkedIn. We want to help you do the same in your practice. Our creative marketing team can help you with that. It's a huge credibility piece if you find that you're losing people from the first appointment, not getting them to a second. Make sure you have an appropriate online presence. That could be one of the major reasons why. But please follow us, like us. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Clifford so we can get to the real meat of this presentation. Take it away, Clifford. Clifford, if you're there, I cannot hear you.
Yeah.
Maybe muted.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to get the right screen. There we go.
Okay.
show the screen. You see that?
Yes, I can. Perfect.
And then I'm gonna put my face up here too, so I talk with my
Beautiful.
hands a lot, so go from there. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for attending this webinar. Probably have about 25, 30 minutes worth of topics here to go over with you today. And then at the end, Matt and I will go over the questions. So if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat over here, and Matt can get them back to me, and we can go over them in the end. For any of you that have seen this presentation before or heard me talk, there's probably bits and pieces of it that you've heard before. But for the most part, it's always changing. Digital marketing is always changing. Our tactics are always changing. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is we listen to the advisors that we work with, and we take their feedback and we take it to heart. Like you guys are on the ground, you're doing, what I do is hard and has its own way, but being on the ground, I also know is very, very hard to do what you do day in and day out, and we respect that. So anything that we can do to help move the ball down the field definitely is something that we're interested in. So with that, we're going to launch our video sales letters this year. So in our Ascend presentation, you'll also see a lot of the same content about this, but essentially video sales letters are content that's already done. It's about 12 to 15 minute presentation. And essentially we're driving the ads to the videos, which then go into a sequence of touches to drive leads. So it used to be, the big thing was, big presentations, pushing people to calendar events and that stuff. And we're still big on that. But what we found over the last year and a half is that people sometimes click on the calendar, but 96% of the time they don't. So the follow-up sequence is the most super, hardest part to figure out on these things. And over the last 5 to 6 months, my team and I have figured out some really cool pieces. And so like at the bottom of this graphic, you'll see that there's a text message sequence, there's an email sequence, there's also 3 voicemail drops that we do. Voicemail drop. You ever had your phone just like sitting there, and somebody calls it and you miss it, but it's still there, or you miss it and it comes up as a missed call, but then you get the voicemail like 40 seconds later and you're like, dude, I was literally right here. That's actually a piece of technology called a voicemail drop, and we have access to those pieces. So we use voicemail drops as well in our sequencing, but the biggest piece there is that we use AI in our text messages and emails. And essentially what that AI is doing is reaching out to the user, reaching out to your calendar, and lining those appointments up and putting them right and slotting them right onto your calendar. So we're very proud of what we've built there and the tools that we use there. So there's just kind of an overview of that piece. And essentially the new funnel looks like this. We've got landing pages which have videos, which go to a calendar page, but you also have a 15-minute presentation. The one that's featured here is something we're launching in Q1. It's called Annuity Rank. So it's essentially, we're going to people who have annuities, we're advertising to them and saying, hey, interest rates are up, there might be a better product for you. Let's talk and we'll rank your annuity on where it falls. So really cool piece of technology that IAMS has built with us to rank your annuity per se. So that content is finishing up now, and we'll have access to that later this quarter. The resources that we use are Facebook's, Google Performance Max, and YouTube ads. So pick an area or region. We usually like to do states or parts of states, like Southern California or, Dallas, Fort Worth, something like that, and kind of go from there. All of your appointments are going to be virtual at the beginning. If you want to work on your sales process and then get that person to a kitchen table discussion or whatever, that's on you to kind of figure out that sales process. But you could do phone calls, you could do appointments, virtual, as well. So you could pick a region if you're wanting to get into that virtual space. You can pick a region as big as you want, really. Dynamic ad sets, so we're using thousands of different combinations of these ads. So essentially, we write the ads, we put them up on Facebook, and then Facebook is constantly testing. And Performance Max does the same thing, constantly testing the different versions of those ads and the videos to see which ones convert best. Then they start moving the money over to the ones that perform best and start going from there. And then we leverage our custom audiences. So our ads get smarter all the time because of the technology we use and the people that we're talking to. So a custom audience is what we, what Facebook does, their algorithm that they spend billions of dollars on is saying, if this ad converts for Save Money events here, and we find a person who matches the hundreds of thousands of characteristics that they have, on the back end of each user on there, they start to take those characteristics, and match them up. And then they start serving our ads only to those people that match most up. All right. Now they make more money because we're converting more and we'll spend more money, and your conversations becomes easier because essentially we're taking that ideal client and we're just kind of spinning it out over and over and over again. We're not taking those ads and then broadcasting it to a 40-year-old with liquid income that hasn't even thought about retirement. No, we're looking for 59 to 70, and we're looking for these, people that are on these topics, and we keep going from there. So some nice pieces there for our resources. That's also the same technology we use on our events, which we'll get to here in a few minutes as well. Pick your topic. So high intent, ready to talk. We insert yourself at the beginning and the end. So it's kind of like a donut. You introduce the speaker, take a step back, the presentation happens, and then there's a call to action at the end. We record those just kind of like this, right? We'll hop on a go to webinar or whatever, and we'll record it, and you'll do it real fast, and then we'll do it. I say real fast, but it's a little bit more complicated than you think it is. And the content we use is already insurance only compliant. You should probably still run it past your broker dealer, and then we kind of go from there. Right now, our content, our average cost per appointment for taxes and retirements are about 150 bucks. Legacy maximization is 150. It's trending lower, so hopefully we'll get that down to about 120, 125 here real soon. And annuity rank is still in a testing phase, but we've seen appointments just kind of based on the regions anywhere between $80 and $200, and so we're really excited about that. We also see the annuity content as kind of a higher value because we know those people already have an annuity, and it should be more of an easier sell or an easier conversation to get to from there.
And I want to add there, Clifford, we do have a webinar scheduled to go deep into detail with each of those topics next week on Monday. So if you're more interested in those.
I thought the next week was federal. Was federal too.
Okay, it may be. I'd have to look at it again, but we will go into deep detail on each of those topics here for you very shortly, because those are all new programs.
Yeah, and if you're interested, just hit me up and we'll go over it. Hit Matt and I up and we'll get you on a call and we'll go over it real quick. Here's an example of the 28 touches that we do in the follow-up sequence. So just a nice piece there, shows what we're reaching out to. Our ultimate goal is to put appointments on your calendar. So this is one of our advisors right now, and this is what it looks like. Ours are the blue ones, but the gray ones are also ones that might be second appointments or third appointments. But this is what we can see on our end. We can see these starting piling up on your appointment. So what you see is the appointment on the calendar, an automated email, and then an automated call at the appointment time. So essentially what is going on is when the appointment's at 10:30, there will be a phone call that goes to you and a phone call that goes to the appointee or the registrant, and then you pick up, they pick up, and then you're able to talk So we take care of that piece also for you, but you can turn that off if you're not interested in that. So when it comes to this program, please do follow up with people. People don't answer the call at 10:30. Sometimes life happens and they don't. So follow up with them immediately, call them back 5 minutes, 10 minutes after that, leave some open time there. Inform us of no-shows. So we can also put them into, we have other re-engagement and no-show series that we can go. Add those prospects to your CRM, start dripping on them immediately. They've shown interest in you. And then set a second appointment in those. So, have your call to action in mind when you're talking to them, what their next steps are and what you need to do in your next appointment. And then give us feedback on the program and understand that people will be reacting to some of these voicemail drops that I mentioned, and they probably are going to call you. So what will happen is we'll do a voicemail drop and they'll just call the number back instead of listening to the voicemail. And we will prep you on what it takes to understand what's going on. Because for you, it's just a blind phone call. Like, what are you calling me for? To them, they think they're, talking to the advisor that they have been, seeing on there. Please don't not answer your phone numbers from calls at the time. Like I said, we have a phone call that goes out at the same time, and be ill prepared for the call. So some of the, we record some of the phone calls, and I've heard some really, really good questions from people and advisors that just weren't ready for those questions. We can only do so much to help you look good and go from there. So what comes next? You order, ads go live, keep an eye on calendar, check for traffic, and then we check the follow-up and we fix any gaps in the process. Then we look at the prices here. So what's included: the registration pages, the follow-up sequences, the AI technology that we use to set those up, scripted introduction calls to actions, and then custom audience generated leads. So the initial is $6,000 for the first quarter. So that's $2,000 for a month. Now, it's a lot up front, but essentially it's 3 months worth of buys, Facebook buys. It's a lot. It's a heavy lift to get off the ground. So to just be like, oh, we do this bi-monthly, it just doesn't make any sense for our team to get into. And then let's say you're 3 months into it, then it's $4,000 a month or $4,000 a quarter to keep moving forward on that. So you could spend anywhere between $18,000 a year on this, but if you're generating, 90 appointments a quarter, and if you convert, 10% of those, the money that you will be making will be far exceed what that cost is. And what I always say, this is like the hardest working person in your office because they work all the time and they never quit. Like, we're serving ads at night, the videos are being watched. So this could be, the other leg to your stool that you're looking for as well. So nice piece there. Okay. From here, we're going to pivot into our 2023 recap and looking forward for 2024 events. So when we look at the event numbers from last year, average dinner seminars had about 38 buying units for those opportunities created. And the average attendance rates was about 50%. So if you have 38 buying units, we're talking about 19 to 20 of them showing up. So that means you have an attendance anywhere between 30, 35 people. Excuse me. The top topics were taxes and retirement income planning, and legacy planning. So nice pieces there. When it came to educational workshops, we actually outperformed our dinner seminars. So 43 buying units on a whole, usually about 60 registrants. Where our educational events fell short was the people who actually showed up. So anywhere between 40% of those people would show up, so 17 buying units. And the top topics there were Social Security, taxes and retirement income. Now, when we talk about registrants, buying units, and who shows up, you're going to get, like, let's say 80 people register or 80 buying units register. Out of that, 30% off the top are always fake, not really interested, didn't really understand what they were getting into. So we usually say if we can get about 50 to 60% of them confirmed, we're sitting good. Now, even out of that 50–60% confirmed, we're still going to have another drop off of how many people actually show up. So out of 80, if we get 45 buying units confirmed, we might only have 22, 25 show up. Now that's great numbers. Like anything, and Matt might argue with me on this one, anything over 20 I feel is unruly. You know, like the advisors, the top advisors that I work with, they don't pre-qualify, but they know who's in the room and they do their homework, and they want 16 to 20 engaged buying units there. That's it. Anything more, the room gets unruly. They can't, keep on top of it, and their presentation kind of falls apart. Matt, do you have anything to say on that?
No, I think that's historically been kind of the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And I just want to make one point clear. Buying units is usually going to be 2 people because that's a couple. I know you mentioned it, Clifford, but I think some people have a question about that every once in a while. So
Yeah.
if you have 20 buying units, you're usually going to have 40 people in the room.
Yeah. So according to our numbers, it's about 1.67 per buying unit is how many registrants we get. So do the math there. So like 38 buying units, 64 registrants. That kind of stuff. We record both sets of numbers. So you can look at it and be like, okay, I got 40 buying units and 76 people, right? So we ask how many guests someone is bringing with them to get a better idea for that piece as well. Now, a couple of programs that we launched in the last half of last year was the Legacy Lock or the Legacy Lock planning content. It has blown up. I think I have like 10 events right now that are all legacy planning at the beginning of the year. So average 44 buying units. For dinner events, these things blow up. For educational events, we're still having great turnout for them. We also had a little bit of success with webinar, when we had folks that would use the right strategy. So target a whole state, target a big area, then have a nice topic there. So, we had a couple of people that would do like the state of Montana or Colorado, and we get like 83 buying units for those kind of events. Here's some numbers from the end of last year into this year. So education event with 122 registrants, 83 buying units. I should have a label there. Sorry for that. But anyway, registrants is the left-hand number, buying units is the right-hand number there. So just kind of look down through them. A light dinner event at an art museum in Oklahoma got 96 buying units. Like dinner seminars work. It's a numbers game. Educational events work. Just know your numbers going into it, right? But the more creative we get, so light dinner at an art museum in Oklahoma, art museums, we've had, oh geez, I don't see any on here, but some, community centers, meh, libraries do good, community colleges always do good. And then, but the dinner events or kind of like exclusive areas always do well. Events at casinos, I advised against this one, but it's kind of it's performed better than I thought. Also, hotels don't really ever perform very well as well. Sometimes we'll catch lightning in a bottle, but for the most part, some of my biggest stinkers last year were hotel events, whether they be with lunch or without lunch. So just some pointers there from 2023 that we learned. The truth is about event marketing is it still works. Seminars and workshops still prove to be the most consistent and cost-effective method for generating prospects for financial advisors and insurance agents. The top agents in the country are doing 4 to 6 events a month. They're constantly they hire people that just do events, right? So it works. It's about getting a rotation or getting a circuit. So even if you're just looking to get an event a month, pick different neighborhoods or different locations, get 2 or 3 and kind of get into a circuit, pop around the map and kind of do that. That would be my advice to you. Get them on the calendar, hold yourself accountable to get those events run, right? When it comes to numbers, Meta has 186.4 million active users, and 33.8 million of them are baby boomers. So 78% of the baby boomers in the United States are on Facebook, and 32% of them are on Instagram. I actually think more of them are on Instagram these days, so these numbers are kind of dated. Anyway, a baby boomer spends 27 hours online. 13 hours of those are on social media. They only spend, on average, 10 hours watching the news. And those people believe that social media is improving their life. So they spend more time on social media than they do on watching the news or watching something else. So the numbers speak, go, if you want to find traffic, go where the traffic is from that. When it comes to dinner seminars, pick a time, a place, complete our questionnaire, leverage our brand, and watch the ads add up. So what's included is registration pages, emails, email reminders, the generated leads, the thank you page, access to the dashboard, and our scripted presentations. Confirmation calls are included on the top level of the $34.99. I highly, highly recommend for anyone who is a little bit strapped on resources to use these call setters. They are amazing. They do this all the time. They are well worth your money, and you're going to have real concrete numbers going into your event and to know what to expect when you step in that room. They are amazing, and they're constantly reaching out to folks about 7 to 10 days before your event. Can't recommend that enough. Here's what a registration page looks like. So they click on the page. You've got dates, times, advisor bio and picture are at the bottom of this, and then any additional disclosures that your broker dealer or RIA might request. Then we go into our HypeRed confirmation sequence. So registration's made, they get an email and text message within 2.5 minutes or 22 to 5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. That includes the date, usually a calendar, like there's a button on there where they can add it right to their calendar so they don't forget. In the next period between the registration and the event, there's the advisor reach out period. And then the day before, we send out an email, and the day of the event, we send out a text message. If you don't do anything besides what I do here with the text messages at the beginning and the text messages at the end, you're going to get 10 to 15% of your people showing up. That's the numbers, right? That advisor reach out period is so super duper important, all right? Now, that's why we also include our confirmation call services, because we know how important that period in the middle is and how important it is for either someone on your behalf or for you to be reaching out to those folks and being touching base with them, because at that time, this event isn't real. It's not a real person yet, right? It's an ad on Facebook, it's an email, it's a text message. Now, when somebody calls them and is saying, hey, are you going to show up? Then it's like, oh, Clifford's counting on me to be there. Now it's a real deal. Like, let's, now I know who that is and that they're a real person and they're expecting me. And it just takes on that level of, oh, I want to be there. I want to be included in something that's special, right? Here's an example of some of the paid media placements that we do. So leveraging our target. So essentially, we don't just drop a pin and go 20 miles around that. We're gonna look at a wealth map. We're gonna look at the neighborhoods where there's money. We're gonna look at traffic corridors around the area. So, if you're on the west side of, I don't know, Dallas, Fort Worth, I'm gonna look at the interstates or that are in and around your locations, see if there's other neighborhoods that maybe we should be targeting as well, not just dropping the pin and being like, oh, anyone who's here, it doesn't work. And the biggest reason it doesn't work is because what if you're next to water? Then 50% of your stuff's going to be water. Places like Tacoma or Seattle have corridors where everybody lives along, so just dropping a pin just doesn't work in those areas. So you have to know, your areas and where to drop your traffic and where to target on Facebook and Google. And then on the third level, we layer in YouTube ads or Google performance ads. as well. So we use the same kind of targeting, but we try to get another network involved in there. Everything that we use also uses our own proprietary retargeting network that we use. So if somebody clicks, goes to a page, doesn't sign up, we're going to hit them with ads on other media sources. So they'll see it over and over again. We find that it's worth our money, or worth your money, to go after that person, because we have a pretty good conversion rate after that. Thank you page. So after the product registers, they're reminded of the date and times, and then we have the ability to add it to our calendar and get directions right there from the page. Seminar dashboard, this is kind of what it looks like. This is what it looks like when it's done well. So someone went in here, was calling the people, leaving notes. This is your central repository to all your campaign data. So if there's 3 or 4 different people working on this, they can leave their notes, they can move people from canceled or unreachable or whatever. Like, you can add whatever the statuses are that are in there. And then that way there's one central place where everyone can look and see the notes and see who's going to show up. What also is included is the content. So the IAMS team and the Safe Money team have spent a lot of time working together on these pieces of content. So Social Security, taxes and retirement, retirement income planning, and then like I said last year, we added legacy lock. We're also going to have annuity rank at the beginning of this year. I'm not sure how well annuity rank will do in an event setting, but we'll see. I'm sure somebody will be interested enough to do it, and we'll get it tried out that way as well. So good topic points there. They're already compliant, and if you ask the IAMS team real nice, they'll put your bio, your headshot, your logo already, and they'll put them in the presentation for you, and you know, kill 2 birds with 1 stone right there. Also, those content pieces they're kind of generic and go through the points. They're good, but like, we leave them kind of vanilla for you to add yourself to them, right? I want you to tell stories. I want you to know what the content is. I want you to add a slide if there's something important to you. You know, the other day I talked to an advisor and they wanted to add a slide about irrevocable trust or something like that to legacy lock. And I'm like, I don't know why you couldn't. You should probably talk about it, and if it's something you're comfortable talking about, like, go for it. But I don't know enough about it to add, you know, that content. So, you know, there's a lot of content pieces here that, you know, like in these presentations, that you can sit, drill down a little bit into. Just make sure that you have, like, you've gone through the presentation, you know what the slides are, and you can make them your own, is my only ask when you use that content. When it comes to educational events, same price structure, $24.99, $29.99, $34.99. The only thing that varies is the projected ad unit, or the projected units that show up. So 20, 25, 30, same things are included. We've built the chassis. Now it's a matter of we've built the chassis. Now it's a matter of putting the right, you know, what you want to see on top of it. There's 2, 3, 4 different kinds of people in this world. There's the person who wants to be the center of attention, put on a great presentation, and buy everybody dinner. That's the dinner event guy. There's educational events. These people are more of the, I want to be the teacher. I want to be the source of information. I want people to ask me questions, and I want to show them my brilliant intellect, right? That's the education guy. So just knowing what type of person you are is going to lead to a lot of heartache, because you put an education event person in a dinner seminar, they'll do fine, but eventually they're going to resent paying for people's dinner. And that's just the price of doing business sometimes, right? So if you can get over that, then you might be a dinner event guy. If you can't, then education events are your thing. So just know who you are when you're signing up for things. Don't let people talk you into something that you don't want to do. When it comes to the virtual, same thing, $24.99 through $34.99. Essentially, we're looking for bigger presentation areas, or we're looking for more niche presentation. So I want to work with state workers in Idaho. Cool. Like, there's, you name it, we can probably figure out a way to target that person and then do a virtual workshop for it. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes you might get 4 to 6 people, but if you want to do Idaho state workers and you got 6 people in a webinar, you're going to have the exactly what you're looking for, and you can't beat that. That's great. We're going to push those people to a calendar page just like this. This person uses Calendly, but we can work with almost any calendar. If you don't have one, that's fine. We have ways of getting to your Google or Outlook calendar if you don't have Calendly. So don't go out and buy Calendly from that. We've got other ways to do it as well. And then we also include the web seminar. So unlike, I love GoToWebinar, but people get kind of silly when they have to download software. BigMarker is completely browser based, so you don't have to download a plugin or anything. Clients just receive a link, presenters receive a link, boom, you click and you're in there and you're presenting. Last year, we also did a number of these movie theater events. They're starting to kind of die off. People are doing less and less of them. They're expensive, right? So by the time you pay for the movie theater, that might be $3 grand. If you want to pay for, popcorn and pop, that might be another $1 or $2 grand from that, because the numbers of people who register for these things are ridiculous, right? Like we did one in Orlando, we had 250 registrants, 180 buying units. We did another one later in the year, we had 210 buying units and 260 registrants, right? These things blow up, right? The problem is the show up rates on these are pretty dismal. So for an event that we might have 200 buying units, we're talking about anywhere between 15 and 20% show up. And that's not just my numbers, that's industry-wide numbers. Our call centers also confirm. They work with a few other groups and a few other technology people as well. And they confirm those numbers as well. But it's a lot of work because you also have to pay them $1,200 to go through those 200 names and call those people as well. So they're great. They're a lot of fun. The content that Doug Orchard has makes it easy for people to just walk out and be like, okay, I need to schedule a call with you. And he has countless videos on those stories where, you do the event, 50 people, 100 people show up, and then they come out, they've seen it, and then they're like, okay, I need to talk to you about, annuities, right? I think they come right out and say it. Tom Hegna is in there and Cheryl Moore are in that event too. It's a real movie, so people enjoy it, but you have to pay for the licensing, you have to pay for the movie theater, you have to pay, all of those pieces as well. So, the other thing that I like to do on some of these, maybe use these as a warm-up sequence, and we can help that as well. So if you have a list of old seminar people that didn't show up, or just a big database of names that people have shown interest before, use the movie, use the Power of Zero, the tax train is coming one, and warm up that list, right? So send out, we can help you send out a couple of emails to warm up that list and get them back into your thing, because at some point that person raised their hand and said, this is something I need help with. So maybe a free movie event is what they need to see to get started with you. All right, we have finished the presentation. This is kind of like what's next. Essentially, you just go to safemoneyevents.com. We've got a few videos on there that kind of lead you through this. If you need help, we have Lynn Feldhauser as our new account kind of like manager. So Matt or whoever you're working with at IAMS will get you in touch with Lynn, and she can take you through the process. If you have very specific questions, they'll get pushed to me, and I have time to meet with people as well. But essentially, you go to the page, you pick your campaign type, you watch the video, and you go from there. Let's see, you pick your package and you fill out the form. It's 8 pages long, but we're covering everything. Name, email, phone number, who to talk to, when your event dates and times are, topics, and disclosures, headshot and logo. If we just did it where you just emailed us and paid us, it's so much work back and forth between me and Lynn and that to get a ticket made. Boom, you go in, you fill out the questionnaire, or you have Lynn help you with the questionnaire. Ticket gets created. Within 4 days, we have touched base with you about confirming that ticket, and you know exactly where it's at in the process, right? You've also already paid, so you don't have to worry about that. And so Lynn touches base with you at the beginning, and then we touch base with you right before we kick off, and that's it, right? So it's that easy to get started. You know, reach out to Matt, reach out to myself, reach out to, and we'll get you in touch with Lynn if you have any questions, and we kind of go from there. Did I miss anything, Matt?
No, I don't think so. You did a really good job. We don't have any questions that I see, but I want to add something.
Okay.
You know, we work with 35 different vendors on lead generation, and you need to do something. The adage that I hear every once in a while from advisors who are having a harder time in this industry is, you know, I tried something, it didn't work. Well, I'm here to tell you this works. Like, this is the number one way to get in front of people, is and always will be, I think, seminars. But these other programs that we're doing, these new programs, we've already proven that they work. The new ones that we hit on earlier. And if you love what you do and you want to see more people and help more people and earn in the high 6 figures, 7 figures, all of our advisors that are earning in that range and really enjoy meeting with people, they're doing things exactly like this. Seminars, preset appointments, that's really where it's at right now. We have other programs that are successful too, but this is the meat and potatoes of what our successful advisors are doing. So don't wait if you're on the fence about it, because you're just letting opportunity pass. So I know that sounds salesy, but guys, it's just so true. You got to spend some money to make some money, but you're going to make some money.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest piece of advice too, is don't let yourself get to that point where you're like, oh crap, I need to get more leads or appointments. That's when you get in that like kind of like pressured area, right? Know your year, right? Understand this, the 12 months and how many people you need to see over that year. So if it's an event in February, you're already thinking about an event in April, you're already thinking about an event in June, maybe you skip the summer, but holding yourself to those dates. Don't build an accordion that's based off of you and what you're pressuring yourself into to keep busy or to keep, you know, afloat, really, right? Know your schedule. I'm going to do an event in February, April, June. That way my pipeline is constantly full. I'm constantly working on the next thing. Too many leads, too many appointments, that's a good problem to have. That's the difference between, you know, the person who's by themselves or has 1 or 2 people working with them, and the big guys, because the big guys who have 8, 10, 12 people know how many events they've got to do to fill up a year and to keep, you know, food on the table for all the people that are working with them. So
right. Okay, well, good stuff. Clifford, like I said, folks, we will be going into even more detail on some of these newer programs. What I see happening with people who have been using Safe Money, and by the way, I don't know of anybody who's used them and has just stopped, because they've been very effective in what they do. It is an in-house program that we've developed with Clifford and his team. But what I see happening is people who are doing seminars, supplementing those seminars with some of these other programs that Clifford hit on at the beginning of the presentation that we're launching this year, to kind of reduce that standard deviation, so you don't have a strong month and then a weak month. You're keeping that sales funnel full, like Clifford was talking about. So really good opportunities here. It's not the only thing we do, not by a long shot, but I honestly do believe these are some of the best marketing programs that you will find in the industry. The other top groups, and I've worked at them, like I said, do something very, very similar. This is a good group. They're completely transparent in what they do, and the price point is right where it needs to be. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Like Clifford said, we can have a private conversation if you need to. But other than that, I think this just about does it. If you would like more information on Safe Money events, then please let me know. I will set up a time for you, Clifford, and I, or your sales director in place of me, to have that conversation so we can get you rolling in 2024.
Great.
All right, folks. Thank you so much, Clifford. Any closing comments?
No, just looking forward to getting some planning done with y'all, and have a great 2024. Yes, we've already lost about, I mean, think about this, we've already lost almost 1/12 of the year, but there's still lots of time to recapture what is probably going to be the biggest annuity sales year ever. So, you know, like let's make you part of those numbers as well, right?
Yeah. And this is the kind of guy you're working with. He's so precise. He's already figured we're 1/12 of the way in. Let us know when we get to 1/11th, Clifford.
Yes,
all right, man.
All right,
you guys take it easy. I'll be in touch with anybody who said they wanted more information. Thank you. Take care.
Great.